Okay, for your homework, the first thing that you're going to need to do is open up your Athens and Sparta slides. We started in class to do this chart together. You guys kind of picked out, you guessed where you think that each characteristic belonged. As you hear the answers as we're doing our reading, you can be moving these in the place where you hear that they belong. And we already did a few of those in class together. The other thing that you're going to need to do as we read the text or after you've read the text is you need to be sure that you're filling in these charts. So I am going to go ahead and show the ones that were filled out in class. Some of my classes got further than my others, so I want it to be fair so that everybody has access to the same information. So I will show the information that was completed by some of my classes, and you can pause the video and fill in any information that you may have missed. The ones that were not done in class, I'm going to have you all go ahead and do by yourselves from the info that you hear from the text. So we're going to go ahead and read our text. We are going to start with, sorry, that was the wrong page. We're going to start with the text about values in Athens and Sparta. Some of you already read this and some of you did not, but I'm going to start here because not all of my classes read about the values of Athens and Sparta. Values are things that they care about in their city state. Okay, here we go. Well, hello there. It's good to speak to you again. Trust me, the pleasure is mine. So you want to know about our values, do you? Well, prepare yourself for a life of luxury because we Athenians insist on a very high quality of life. First and foremost, we value our temples here in Athens, and it's our responsibility to protect, defend, and repair them. After all, it was Lady Athena who saved us when she battled Poseidon for control for our city. Oh, yeah, Athena also gave us our very first olive tree during this famous battle. I'm sure you understand how important Athena is to us, and we must do everything possible to respect her. What else do we Athenians value? The short answer would be anything that involves intellect and wit. And I'll save you the time. You won't find anything like this in Sparta. We like art. We like learning. We have monuments that attract people from all the way across the Aegean Sea. People throughout the Mediterranean world enjoy our educational institutions. Here, boys are required to be taught at home until they are 6 years old. Then they attend school until they are 14. Then, then they have the option of 4 more years after that. In Athens, boys are trained to become active citizens. Do you like sports too? Each year, we send some of the best athletes in all of Greece to compete in Olympia in a series of games called the Olympics. While we enjoy competing in races, the long jump, and the javelin throw, we must remember the reason for these games. Do you know why we participate? It is to honor Zeus, the supreme god who rules over all of Greece. Here in Greece, we also take great pride in our writers. People travel far and wide to see the latest drama by Aeschylus, one of our most famous playwrights. I hope you've enjoyed our time together today. I sure have. So go ahead and go back to your chart and come to values. If you haven't filled this out already, here's what you need to write down for Athens. Athens is known for art, learning, so they value academics in school, monuments that they built, and temples, sports. They invented the Olympics, and they love the goddess Athena. They believe that she is their patron goddess. She is the goddess who created Athens. You can pause the video if you need more time with that. I'm going to go back to reading, and now we're going to read about Sparta and find out what they value. Let me guess. You're sick and tired of that Mr. Athens, aren't you? He's always so snooty and thinks he's better than me just because he's well educated. Well, you know what? He's not. He may be smarter, but I'll bet you anything I'm stronger. I'll tell you what we value here in Sparta, and I'll let you make the decision on whose lifestyle is better. Although I have a feeling you will choose us. Building temples, fancy schools, and statues just does not interest us. These do not protect us, nor will they save us if we're attacked. Any spending on art or learning is simply foolish. If a civilization starts throwing their money to these types of things that don't matter, they will be extinct before they know it. You want to know what we value most? Really, you do? Two simple words: strong military. Our number one goal is to provide a powerful military force that can protect the land of Sparta and all of its citizens. Do we have education here? Of course, but our schools are very different from those in Athens. When our boys turn 7, we send them off to a military school. Here, our boys begin training to become warriors. They learn basic reading and writing skills, but more importantly, they learn how to use a weapon, defend themselves, and kill. Instead of arithmetic or poetry, we teach courage, honor, and strength. Because we value strength, we sometimes have to make tough choices. In school, boys are encouraged to steal. If caught, they are whipped. In everyday life, if a woman gives birth to a weak baby, it's left outside to die. We cannot allow this weakness to bring down Sparta. I'm sure you noticed this about Mr. Athens when you spoke to him, but he's weak, like really weak. The Athenians' lack of focus on training soldiers will be what will doom them. So be sure you fill out this part of the chart. Sparta values military strength. They have no room for weakness, and they encourage sneakiness, as you saw with telling the boys to steal but punishing them if they were caught. Okay, the next one we're going to focus on is economy, the way that they make money. Let's find out how Athens makes money. Hey, let me guess. That Mr. Sparta's got you down, does he? He always gets me depressed too. Seriously, can you believe that Sparta only focuses on a military education? What a sad, sad way to live. Oh well. Do you want to know how we Athenians pay bills? It's simple. Our economy is based on trade and tourism. Y'all, tourism is when people visit your place in order to go there and spend money. Like if you go on vacation, that's tourism. You're going somewhere to visit. Thousands of visitors come to Athens to visit our wonderful temples and schools, and while they're here, they spend their money. Whew! The tourists also bring goods from foreign lands to trade, sell, or barter. Since we're located near the sea, trade and tourism are easy for us. So the reason that they can trade is because of their location. Our port cities are well kept, and our harbors are visited by many other Greek city-states on a daily basis. What do we trade away, you ask? We will trade anything we have in excess. Let me have you guess. We specialize in olive trees, beekeeping, and creating fabulous works of art. What do you think we sell extra of? You guessed it. We trade away olive oil, honey, and our fine pottery. We trade these for goods that we need, such as grain and barley for bread and to feed our animals. We also import pork, cheese, glass, and rugs. You should come visit sometime and see this whole trading thing take place. Most of it happens in our downtown marketplace. We call it the Agora. It is a truly something amazing to see. To make trading easier, we use our own coin system. Many other city-states have started to use our coins for their currency too. Since many look to us to lead the Mediterranean world, it just makes things easier. I hope to see you here sometime soon. All right, so fill in this part, and this is the last part that I'm going to give to you. The rest you're going to fill in on your own. Welcome back. I hope Mr. Athens didn't bore you too much. Are you ready to hear how we Spartans do business? While Athens relies on things outside of their control like trade and tourism, we go into great lengths to make sure our citizens are taken care of. We specialize in two things, farming and conquering. We farm the land to produce crops to feed our own growing population, and we conquer other people nearby to ensure we have enough land to support our growing population. Is this wrong? The way I see it, it's either them or us. What happens to the people living in the areas we conquer, you ask? Well, they fall under our rule. We call these people helots. These enslaved people are extremely important to Spartan society. The Spartan men often spend their lives away being warriors. So the helots are used to farm the land. We let the helots stay in their homes they originally lived in, but they have to give us the majority of the food they produce. We also have a group of people that don't qualify for citizenship. We call them the perioikoi. These people are active in Spartan society but aren't true Spartans. Many of them make the goods our soldiers use, such as shoes, cloaks, knives, and spears. Do we trade with the rest of the world like Athens? Absolutely not. We use our own currency. iron bars, and most people aren't too thrilled about receiving iron as a form of payment. Oh well, we don't care. If other city-states don't want to trade with us, we'll just stick to our own business. Okay, last section about women and enslaved people. Welcome back. I sure do enjoy speaking with you and helping you become enlightened about life in Athens. I bet you're starting to see that Athens' way of life is clearly superior to that of those in horrid Spartans. So you want to hear about our non-citizens? Well, don't let this area of our civilization shock you. After all, most civilizations around the world have people who aren't considered citizens. Here in Athens, we have two groups of people who don't qualify for citizenship: women and enslaved people. I hate to say it, but women in Athens are treated much differently than men. Take my wife, for example. She is not allowed to inherit my property when I die, nor is she ever allowed to own property. She is never allowed to in the assembly, and certainly isn't allowed to vote. Oh, and there are only a few jobs open to women here in Athens. Some women, but only important ones, are allowed to be a priestess in a temple. A priestess is a female priest. What else are women restricted from, you ask? Don't get mad at me because I don't make the rules, but women aren't allowed to leave their homes without a male companion. Crazy, right? Like all ancient societies, we do subject people to enslavement under certain conditions in Athens. A person can be enslaved if he owes someone a debt he cannot pay. This enslaved debtor will then toil in our fields, perform household work, or work in our underground silver mines. Sometimes, once the debt is paid off, a person who has been enslaved can purchase his freedom, but the decision rests with his boss. Some people are enslaved if we capture them in war. No matter how we got here, Athenian law protects these people. Our law forbids us from striking an enslaved person. All right, let's find out about how Sparta treats women and slaves. Aren't you a little bit shocked to hear the way the Athenians treat their women? They talk about how superior they are with their art and education. Then they don't even let women leave the house alone. Please, in Sparta, women are equal citizens to men. Women can own property and are even allowed to speak to their husband's friends, something forbidden in Athens. Do you want to know something really interesting? Say a Spartan man is away for a long time. Do you know what his wife could do? She could marry someone else while he was far away, at war. I think it's fair to say that we treat women much better than Athens. Do we practice slavery, you ask? Well, yes. We have enslaved people here in Sparta, but we call them helots. We let them pick up side jobs to save money and even purchase their freedom if we agree to it. Some say we are very mean to them, though. We want to be nice to them, but many people are afraid they will revolt. In fact, one time we told the helots to round up their best fighters, or those who were the most distinguished among them, among the enemy, as the Thucydides said. We tricked them into thinking these best fighters were going to receive their freedom, but instead we decided to do away with them, if you know what I mean. Good luck trying to revolt against the mighty Spartans with your best fighters now missing. Do we ever get more helots? Of course we do. We are a war-based society, so we are always conquering and taking prisoners. And since we rely on agriculture, we always have land that needs worked. Okay, so come down here to the next page, and you need to list how Athens treated their women and slaves, and how Sparta treated their women and slaves. Be very specific. Go back to the text if you need it. It's linked in the assignment. And the last thing I'd like you to do is to think about this. Did your views of each city-state change as you read? So did you start to have a different opinion as you found out more about each one? And in the end, which city-state do you think is better based on the information you read? You have to choose one. So explain to me which one you think is better. So answer those two questions, and we will discuss these things tomorrow and be ready to create our digital posters.